Hi, my name's Phil. I like to talk about politics, and the channel has just reached 30,000 subscribers, or it did earlier today anyway. Thank you very much. It rumbles on, doesn't it? It's quite strange to think that it got to the first 1,000 back in January this year. The channel started last year. Didn't know what I was doing with it. It's only literally at the start of this year, and I mean January the 1st, when I woke up and thought, I'm going to do something with this channel on a regular basis and really try to build it up. And here we are, to the point where in a few months I'm going to be doing it full time. You know, and more of a little word about that over time. I'll portion out a little bit more details on that. But ultimately, I was, at work, as you are, as you are. And I didn't just think one day, oh, I could do this full time, I'll do it full time. But something happened at work, my boss left to go somewhere else, and I wasn't entirely happy with the direction that it was going to take after that. So I thought, well, we'll leave this in the lap of the gods. I thought to myself, I have traditionally in my teaching career moved on when I've, not felt that I've fitted, or if the department's going to change direction in a way I don't like. But in this particular case, it didn't have to be to another teaching job. I thought, well, is this an opportunity? The sort of opportunity that people miss all the time. There's been opportunities in my life that I've missed and I regret. And I thought to myself, is this one? And I thought, I'll leave it in the lap of the gods. I didn't get the Magic 8 Ball out. And truth be told, I have lost my Magic 8 Ball many years ago. And I thought, right, here's the thing. Didn't necessarily want to go for the replacement manager role. But I thought, well, I will. And if I get it, then there we go. I'll concentrate on that. And that would mean having to step back from this a little bit, obviously keeping it on, but on a much reduced output. And if not, then I'll increase the output on this and we'll do this full time. I'll take that as the sign, if you like. Not a divine sign, even though I am religious. And so it was. I didn't get the job. And so handed my notice in. Just before summer. But the weird way it works in teaching, it's actually months since I had my notice in, and it's still going to be months more before I finish that notice, because that's just how it works. So I will be finishing the end of December. So 1st of January, 1 year on from when I thought I'm going to build this channel up, I'm going to be entirely dependent upon this channel, which is actually really exciting. I've never, when it comes to risk, lots of people will listen to people who really made it in life, and they'll all say they had to take a risk. And sure, the vast majority, people who really made something, I don't just mean people who've ended up wealthy like Donald Trump, but had everything handed to them on a plate. I mean the people who actually made it. They will all say they took the risks and they fell and they failed and they carried on taking those risks. And somehow when you listen to these people, you get the view that as long as you keep pushing, as long as you keep moving forward, you will get there in the end. That's not true at all. It is true to say that in order to realise a dream, an ambition, ambition is better than dream, because, if you don't have a plan to realise it, it is just a dream, and that's all it is. It's something you do while you're asleep and then you instantly forget about. For it to be an ambition, you need a plan there, don't you? And it is certainly true that the people who realise these ambitions definitely kept pushing through the failures and had to have that fear that moving out of your comfort zone. But I also observe life, and I can see that there are, for everyone that keeps pushing and pushing and eventually makes it, there are many others who keep pushing and pushing and fail and they fail their whole lives. And it all ends up a disaster. So it's still a lucky few that grab those opportunities. So this I saw as an opportunity, and I thought, right, I'm going to take it. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't work out, I go back into teaching. But it seems to me that there's an importance to this at the moment. We're living in a world right at the moment where information is just everywhere, but it's bad information. And any little thing that I can do, and I know some people have said on the channel, well, there's not going to be that many people who disagree with you will come on here and listen to you and change their minds. No, I don't see a lot of evidence of that, I have to say. But what I do get a lot of messages from are people who do agree with me, and they say that they try and argue with those who don't. And they've made headway based upon the arguments I have presented. That has actually helped them pass those arguments on. So that's quite inspiring, and that is something I would definitely like to do. And I have to also say, from a selfish point of view, at the moment, I've basically been ill for 3 weeks, and it's not even with the same thing. At the moment now, I've mostly got over the first thing I was ill with, which was food poisoning, which is not caused by anything I cooked, I hasten to add. And I've now got a really sore throat, so I'm to dose myself up before I do any of these. And I would just, and as I'm at work and I'm getting through that, and of course as a teacher, trying to use my voice as little as possible, that doesn't go down very well. And then coming home and doing this, and I just think, do you know what? If I was full time now, I'd be able to get more output out of that, because and I knew this would happen. I knew this was going to happen as soon as I went back. That's when it was all going to kick off in terms of British politics, and unbeknownst to me, American politics as well, which I can't even talk about at the moment. There's no time. And I knew there would be really exciting stories that I wouldn't be able to touch because I just wouldn't have time. And that is the case. I'm having to pick and choose what I'm talking about. And I'm just thinking, do you know what? If I was full time now, I'd have been able to nurse my health a lot better, get more output out there, spend more time on the output I'm doing as well per video. And it would all just be a lot better. But in January, that's hopefully what will happen. And it's not just this as well. I keep thinking to myself, I'm sure there would be time to do other things as well. One thing, I mean, I know there's a link in there. The podcast is a bit hit and miss because I don't really get podcasts. One thing, two things that I will definitely expand on. First of all, Facebook. I don't really know how to use Facebook. Technically, I have a Facebook page for this. I don't really advertise it on this channel. I don't know really what I'm doing with Facebook. I will put some effort into finding out. And then when I know what I'm doing with it, I'll sort of advertise it more. And then the other thing is a blog site I'd quite like to do. Because, you know, let's face it, especially when I'm full-time, I will go back to scripting again. I've scripted a few, but mostly I'm having to vlog, which obviously got me into trouble a little bit, didn't it? A couple of days ago, when I mixed up Dominic Grieve with Dominic Cummings and the SNP with the Lib Dems. The perils of not, and I had so many people I had so many people point out the Dominic Cummings error and not the SNP one, which is really weird. But nonetheless, you just have to take that on the chin and think, crap. It wouldn't have happened if I was scripting it. So I would be scripting. But if I'm going to script it, it's not actually that much work just to turn it into a blog and maybe bring out a blog each day of the one thing that I think is most interesting that day. But I know nothing about blogs either. So that's something else I'll need to research. But there are, you know, things on the horizon that I want to do as well. And also expand content on Patreon where I can as well. So at the moment on Patreon, you know, once a month, this Saturday is going to be the one for October, Lobbyist and Above do a live stream. And then usually 2 or 3 other times in the month, we do another one for a higher tier patrons. But that's pretty much it. Occasionally there's the odd little video that I'll put on just for Patreon, but not many. So it'd be nice to be able to spend more time doing that. And also nice to spend more time actually reading the comments and engaging. I get little enough time to do that when it's like this is the busiest term time. And one thing that's been quite interesting is September is like one of the busiest months. Though this, if I'm honest, this whole term is. So September, October, November and December are really busy. Possibly December a little less so. And yeah, the September performance, whether buoyed by the fact that the channel is just still naturally growing or whether buoyed by the fact that politics has just gone absolutely insane, the performance on all metrics in September is only marginally behind August when I had most of August off and was able to do a lot more. So, you know, that's quite interesting as well. But anyway, thank you very much for the continued support. Welcome to the new subscribers since the last time I did one of these. I'm not sure when the 35k subscriber one's going to come along. It may be a little while because these things sort of ebb and flow. But it'll be interesting to see where we end up by the time I am going full time. But it will be a really weird feeling, I think. Be a very weird feeling waking up on the 1st of January thinking it's 1 year ago today that I really decided to take this off. At the time I had a few hundred subscribers, no more than that. And you know, and in that January I got my first 1,000 halfway through the month. And it's gone on from there. So it'll be interesting to see where it will end up by the end of that year. And then hopefully in 2020, when I'm able to spend full time on it, I am more than anticipating, I am really hoping that I can do something with the channel. But of course, only with your support. So again, thank you very much for that. I hope you found the video interesting. If you've got any comments, criticisms, general comments, please put them down below and I shall try and check those out. But until next time, I'll see you later.